I'm Captain Jeff, your host, and you're listening to Catholic Pilot, podcasting on a wing and a prayer. Broadcasting live from the beautiful Hilton in Melbourne, Florida.
This is your captain speaking. Please sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Well, hello and welcome back to the Catholic Pilot Show. Yeah, I know it's been a while, and I know I promised I was going to do this a little bit more often, but life seems to be just getting in my way. That's all there is to it. So, a lot of things to talk about on this show, so I'm just going to go ahead and dive right into it. So, where should we start? Well, okay. Let's see, do you remember back in April 11th to be exact, the Air France Super Jumbo A380 colliding with the Comair CRJ 700 at John F. Kennedy International Airport in New York? Well, yes, it was a kind of a big deal. You may have seen the video of that, and here's the ATC tapes.
Air France 7 Super, runway 22 right, turn left on Alpha, hold short Echo.
7 Super, left on Alpha, we will start Echo. For information, we are able to take off from stop.
Air France 7 Super, plan full length. Air France 7 Super, hold short, give way to opposite direction traffic at Kilo Delta.
Give way to the opposite Kilo Delta, France 7.
Well, Commerce 563, send the trucks who just hit us at Mike.
Attention all emergency equipment, respond call 32, taxiway Alpha and Mike. Attention all emergency equipment, respond call 32, taxiway Alpha and Mike.
Roll the emergency trucks at Mike, we've been hit by Air France.
And who is that?
Commerce 553.
Comair 553, okay, we are calling them. Does you require any assistance right away that we need to inform them? We are doing that, and is there anything else you need from us?
Okay, there you go. The initial instructions were for the Air France Super Jumbo 380. You know, this double-decker, big, huge airliner. I believe it's the largest airliner in the world now, made by Airbus Industries. Well, it was given instructions, or they were given instructions to taxi to a certain runway, 22 right, I believe, and they were using taxiway Alpha going by the Delta terminals and the Comair flight operating as a Delta connection carrier. So it was a Delta flight number, but it was actually Comair, not Delta. They were on taxiway Mike awaiting entrance to the ramp. And the Airbus Super 380 comes along, and this big, huge wing span on this airplane, I think it's the wingspan is about the size of a football field from end to end, or end zone to end zone. Huge wing. And it collided or tipped the tail of the Comair Regional Jet 700 and spun it around like a little top. And I'll include a link to the video of the incident. It's quite impressive, actually. In fact, I'm very, very surprised that no one was injured in this incident. I don't know, maybe the lawyers will get involved and we'll hear more reports of injuries related to this, but apparently everybody was seated in the Comair Regional Jet, and because they were seated and probably had their seatbelts on, they weren't injured. Now, of course, the people in the Airbus Super 380, they probably hardly felt a thing. Maybe they heard a little bit or maybe felt a little bit of a rumble, but likely it wasn't something they would have noticed at all because of the mass of this big airplane. But anyway, some people had been talking about, okay, whose fault was it? Okay, the Airbus hit the Comair, so it must be their fault. Or, no, it's the Comair pilot's fault because they didn't pull out of the way sufficiently. Well, here's the deal. When it comes to an accident such as this, whether you're on a taxiway, whether you're given clearance to go from point A to point B on an airport, It doesn't matter whether or not somebody gives you clearance to do it. You are still, you, the pilot in charge, the pilot in command, are responsible for ensuring that you have clearance with another airplane. When I'm taxiing around on aprons and ramps and going into parking areas, etc., even if I have somebody marshaling me into a gate and they're telling me with their wands or their arms and showing me that I'm clear and they're bringing me in, or if I have a green light and even though I'm on the center line, if I hit something that is in the clear zone or the not clear zone, it's my fault. Even if somebody is giving me a green light and marshaling me in, I am responsible for whether or not the airplane hit something or not. So it was not the ComAir pilot's fault. It was not the air traffic controller's fault. It was the pilot in command of that Air France Super 380. Well, that's my opinion anyway. And I think that's what the National Transportation Safety Board will find as well at the outcome of this investigation, if they haven't already come to some findings regarding that. But anyway, if you have a different take on this incident, if you're a pilot out there and you think I'm wrong, well, please send me some feedback at feedback@catholicpilot.com. Or send me some voicemail feedback at area code 304-99-PILOT. That's area code 304-997-4568. And you can find that information by looking at some of the data on my downloaded podcast that you're listening to, if you happen to be listening to it in that manner. Okay, let's see here. Another incident that you may or may not have heard of or about was yet again another Southwest Airlines 737 skidded off the end of, well, not quite the end, but almost the end of runway 13 center at the Midway Airport in Chicago. Now, you may remember back in, well, let's back up about 11 years. In the year 2000 in Burbank, California, there was an incident there where a Southwest Airlines airplane came in. They were too high. They landed about halfway down the runway with way too much speed, and they careened off the end of that runway, went through the property fence line, and came to stop in front of a gas station, I believe, in Burbank, California. No injuries on that. 2005, Midway, wintertime, another Southwest Airlines jet skidded off the end of that runway, and unfortunately they weren't so lucky. No one on the airplane was hurt, but they did kill a 6-year-old boy who was in a car. And so fast forward to 2011 or 2011, last month, the 26th of April, again during heavy rain, they landed on runway 13 center at Midway and skidded off the end of the runway, and the pilot turned off the end of the runway just short of the EMAS system, the special concrete, engineered concrete system that has been installed at many airports that basically, once you hit it, it just kind of breaks up and absorbs an incredible amount of energy and stops the airplane in its tracks. And I guess the pilot of the Southwest Airlines jet probably thought, I'm going to do a lot of damage to the airplane if I end up actually hitting that EMAS system, so I'm going to go ahead and go here into the mud, off in the grass. And no injuries on that one either. And let me read a little bit about that incident. They have some quotes from a passenger or two on that flight. Let's see if I can find it. Southwest Airlines confirmed that Flight 1919 was in Chicago from Denver when it slid off the runway and got stuck in the mud. There were 134 passengers and 5 crew members aboard. Let's see. Here's one of the quotes from a passenger. We came in kind of hard. In fact, everybody kind of looked at each other when we bounced on the runway, and then we didn't seem to be stopping. We just kept going and going, said Dale Hortick of Colorado. We had to be doing 60, 70 miles an hour when we went into the grass, and it sunk deep into the grass. That saved us. The pilot did a top-notch job, added passenger Judd Brown, also of Colorado. Okay. I can't find it. I thought I clipped this article, some quotes by another passenger who said that, that that pilot saved our life, or our lives. I hate to tell you this, but that pilot is the one that got you in the darn situation to begin with. Now, of course, this is just my personal opinion, and yeah, it's really easy to Monday morning quarterback these kind of things, and maybe the pilots did everything possible to get the airplane on the runway safely, and they did everything they could do to stop it, but the friction, because of all the rain on the runway, prevented them from stopping in a normal manner. I don't know, but anyway, that's the Southwest Airlines 737 runway excursion back in April. Again, if you have any questions or comments about that, maybe you think I'm wrong about that, or right, whatever, send me some feedback. Here's another thing. Going back to that Air France Super 380 and the Comair flight collision on the ground at John F. Kennedy International, and the no injuries claimed aspect of the incident. A friend of mine at my church, who is also a lawyer, received something from somebody, and he forwarded it to me. And it has to do with the Miracle on the Hudson. You remember a couple of years ago, the U.S. Air Flight 1549 took off at LaGuardia Airport and then lost both engines after flying into a flock of Canadian geese, and then landed in the Hudson River. And no one died in that incident. I don't believe there were any injuries at all.